Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Yo, dudes, welcome back to Johnny Q Crafts. I'm your boy, Johnny Q. Today on the show, we're making Gaslands cars. And if you've seen me race, which I know you have, but if you haven't, the link is here. Well, if you liked seeing my race, well then come on with me and you can see how I build these Gaslands cars. Well, alright, cool dudes, come on, follow me. You see my fiance's best camper trophy? Got me a good one. That first step's a doozy. Here we are with our two cars. I chose a orange hot rod and a yellow truck. I'm going to show you how to take the truck apart because I'd already taken the hot rod apart for a different project, but I decided to use it for this one. All you need is a little hand drill and two different size drill bits, one smaller than the other, so you can start with a little tiny drill spot and then use the big one to hog out all the material. You have to be careful here. There's a bunch of metal shards that come out, and you just drill as much as you need, and then they just practically pop off, and then you can use the drill bit extra just to clean up the hole of the little post. And then, as you can see, you can look around and see what needs to be taken off, and what needs to be snipped off. And I need to snip off the back tire and headlight and roll bar on the back of the truck. And sometimes just cutting doesn't get at it. You have to get out of the drill or cut at it some more, get out of the drill, and then eventually it'll pop off. And then with the hot rod, I'd already had everything off except for that roll cage in the back. So once I get all the bits and bobs off, I get out my helping hands and I get out my paint stripper and I start to apply the paint stripper to the cars. This was the first time I had used this citrus strip, and it had a pleasant smell and it was easy to use. And after one coat, I noticed that it needed a second coat, so I'm applying a second coat, and whatever it had stripped off, I figured I could get it to work a little bit better. And here we are after the second coat. And yo dudes, we're back at it again. We're here with our stripped cars. We had a little bit of trouble stripping the cars. The orange citrus stuff that we use, the orange citrus strip, she works, but not as good as I'd like.
She doesn't smell bad.
She don't smell bad, like a good smelling girl. Citrus strip didn't work too well, so I went and bought some of the old faithful.
Probably outside. You don't have to show it.
It's over there. Anyhow, I bought some of the quick strip stuff from the Walmart. So we got them stripped and ready to go. So we're gonna glue on some weapons, and then we're gonna prime them. Let's do it. After we get our cars stripped and clean, we get out our box of parts and we go through them to find the cool stuff we want to put on our cars. These are some 3D printed pieces that I won on a competition over on the Gaslands TV channel. He has a competition monthly, and if you win, he sends you a box of bits. And then some of these are some stuff that I've 3D printed from my 3D printer. And the parts I get out, I test fit to see if I like them. I test fit some bumpers and some ramps. I test fit that dude holding that machine gun, see if he looks cool on the hood. I try on some other guns and other bits. I think rockets might look cool, but it doesn't really fit. And while I try out more pieces on the cars, it's this part in the show where I tell you if you hear anybody giggling in the background, it's because I'm recording with my fiancé in the room, and she has just got the giggles when I record. And there's a dog in here. If you hear any snoring, it's the dog. But anyhow, I try out a passenger shooting out the side door, and this will be the first time I've used these. Oh, I hit my head. You see that? I hit my head on the camera. That's hilarious. I love it. Well, anyhow, so I guess I'd already figured everything out, and I'm showing off a good clean car, and I'm gonna test fit the roll cage real quick and test fit the rockets I'm going to put on the back. And I pop the roll cage back off with a screwdriver. I test fit the engine and the chassis base. I test fit the ram. And it looks pretty good. It's got those skull heads on it. It'll look really good after I paint it up. I think about putting this gun on top, but then I actually vote against it. There's a really cool hatch door on top, and I prefer the hatch door. And then I try on some different tires, and they got these little pointy metal blades on the end of them for ramming. Oh, it's sharp! Don't touch it! Oh. And then that's how I test the hot rod out. And then I test out some wheels on the truck, and I try to put these side spikes on there and give that little test fit. And then I decide not to put the guy with the gun on the back and decide to put the roll bar back with the tire on it. And I do decide this bumper brush guard thing. And then make sure it looks good either on the actual metal car or if I decide to put it on the chassis. And then I test fit the driver and see how it looks hanging out the window. And test fit the passenger, how he looks hanging out the window. I get my glue out and just go to town. I glue the rockets on the back. And as you can see here, I'm doing stuff out of frame because I'm not used to crafting in front of a camera yet. But here I'm cleaning up the back of the wheels that I'm going to use in the hot rod and putting a little bit of a spot for the wire to fit through so I can glue them together. It was a little, you have to have good steady hands for it. And then here I am gluing the bumper to the front of the chassis of the truck. And I decided to pull that mesh out and test fit the mesh for the windshields of the truck. There's the front and the back. I decided to leave the sides open so you could see the passenger and the driver in it. And yeah, give it a quick test fit. The lighting change was because we had to take Daisy out to potty in the door to the right side of my crafting station. Always take care of your dogs. Make sure that you gotta go potty. And then I glued the rockets to the top of the truck. And I decided only to use those bigger tires and use them on the front. Those smaller tires were just a little too street style, not enough desert style or wasteland style. And I used the spare tire I cut off from this vehicle to put on that back spare tire spot because that still looked better. The spare tire on the back of this mold looked kind of crappy, and so I decided to use the other one. And now that we got everything glued on, it's time to prime. Prime time. So we've gone outside to prime. I put down a piece of cardboard so I wouldn't make a big mess in the grass, but I made sure to spray all four sides of the cars and then flip them over and spray the bottoms just a little bit. And let them dry. And then, oh, yep, cute. And then once they've dried, I come back inside and I put them both on their own set of helping hands. I take a screwdriver and put some sticky tack and put the wheels to that so I don't have to hold them all. And the first thing I decide to work on are the wheels, and I use that black gloss so they look like they're real rubber. And I make sure to get the tops, the bottoms, both sides of all the tires. I'm pretty generous with the coating. It doesn't matter if I get it on the spot supposed to be metal. I had made some barbed wire out of coiled wire off camera, and I'm going to add that to the truck, and I use a little bit of metallic gray. A metallic gray on the bumper of the truck to make it look kind of metal and chromy. And I do it for the ram on the hot rod to make it look like metal and chrome. And then I decide to move on to the roll cage and those lights on the roll cage. I use this change color green and this neon purple, and I use the green first and make it look like lights. And as you can see, my long luscious locks get in the shot. And then I use the neon purple to make purple lights. And this color scheme for both of these vehicles are based off of Mastodon album covers. I was listening to some pretty good music while I was painting. And here I'm trying to use the color change blue. It's kind of pearlescent. And as I'm painting it on this panel here, I'm not really feeling it. It kind of was thin. And this is my first time using this color. I had it for a while, but it's my first time using it. And so I decided to go just straight metallic blue. And I really liked the metallic blue better. It had a really cool color, and it had a really cool shine to it, and it looked pretty hardcore. And so I just put that all over the body of the vehicle, and I make sure not to get it on the parts I think are going to be chrome or metal or really inside the vehicle much, because I like the black inside the cockpits. But I do make sure to get like the underbelly of like the tire wells or the like bottom of the vehicle skirts. And then yeah, once it's all covered, it looks pretty good. And then next I get out some purple and I put purple on the hot rod. Once again, trying to make sure not to get it on parts I think will be metal or chrome. And it looks pretty good. I like this purple right away. I used it before on the purple pain car. So if you've not seen the purple pain car race, go back and check that video out. And then I use this color shift black and put that on the rims of the tires with the spikes and put it on the blades of the saw blade tire. And here I am a little bit more nimble using these paints. And then off camera, I had pre-painted the driver with just all the same paints I'm using now. And then stay tuned to the channel and we'll show you how to paint miniatures in a different episode. And we're looking forward to that one because Cadence and I will be painting miniatures for D&D. So I get back out the metallic gray and start painting all the metal parts on the hot rod, painting the metal side doors. And I'm a little bit tedious with this. I paint that hatch door on top. And then I paint the metal windshield on the front. And I paint the metal plating on the back. Try not to mess with any of the purple. And then I paint the front because I think it'll look really good with the full chrome radiator. And just get in there, watch for the fine details. And then I paint the rocket launcher on the back, making sure to get it really good coated, not to mess with the purple. And then I start on the truck, and then I paint the weapon on top of that. And I paint the side spikes, and also where the side spikes are, the super glue dried on a little bit like extra on the sides. I thought it looked pretty cool. It looked like it was welded on to the side doors. So I really like that. And then I'm going over the wheels one more time to highlight the edges of them with that metallic chrome color. And I pull out some yellow here. And I was going to go for a style, but I changed my mind. And then so I moved on to the truck with these red hatch marks. And I've done them in this style before, and I really like the hatch mark style. It looks kind of like a military / like futuristic or something cool. So I like that. And then I go back to that color change green, and it really popped on this metallic blue. I was surprised at how much it popped on there. And I just go randomly here. I'm not really got any rhyme or reason. I'm just putting it around. And I really like it. And then I went back for the neon purple as well, since I used that color change green. And instead of putting 3 hash marks, I put 2. Just give it some different variation. And just all the spots I liked it to be. And then for the purple one, I left that neon purple out. And instead of doing hatch marks, I was going to do like little polka dots. And I wanted these cars to look kind of funky and fancy. And so I thought with these really good popped off colors, it'd be really fun. And so the next one I decided to use was this yellowish gold color and added more polka dots there. You can't really see the neon purple through the camera, but believe me, it really pops off in person on there. And then I decided to get the orange out and paint the warheads of the missiles orange because I thought that'd be a cool color to add there. And it did. It looked really good with the orange. I really liked it. I thought red might have been better, but the orange really came through. And then I got out some steel gray and some black, and I was going to do a dry brushing of this darkish gray on the tires to make it look kind of like wear and tear on the tires. And then I was going to use a little bit more of that to do a dry brush on the metal and the chrome parts, so it wasn't just so, uniform one color. And we'll show you a dry brush technique better when we paint our own minis. And then I used just straight steel paint for more of a dry brush on all the metal parts again to give it more contrast. And I used it on all the metal parts on the vehicles so they have more contrast. You could see the roll bars and you could see the lug nuts and see all the metal plating. And then once that was all dried up, I took it off of its helping hands and started gluing all the bits that were already on it back on. I glued the engine back on, that roll bar back on, and had to, get that set real well because it kept being really fidgety. And so I had to use that little tiny screwdriver there to get it just in the right spot so it would go back on. And then I put the bottom part back on and the wheels, and then when the wheels popped off while I was handling it because I was being too rough with it, and I got that glued back on, it took no time at all. And then I decided to start doing the mesh on the truck. I test fitted it first, and then I put a little bit of glue on the edges of the frame, and I made sure to have enough glue to secure the mesh there. I glued the grill back on, and I put the roll bar and spare tire back on and glued that back there. I put the barbed wire on the sides of the truck bed to give it a little extra hardcore protection look, and had to trim that up a few times just so it would sit there just straight. And then after that, let all the glue dry up, and then we're going to test fit the driver and the passenger. And it takes a little bit of finesse to glue the driver and the passenger in, so I test fit them once, twice, maybe even 3 times. And as I try to test fit them, I use this blue sticky tack, so at least it's kind of like they'll stay put where I put them. And I put the driver in, try the car on, and try to see if I can see the driver through the window. And as you can see, she's too low. You can only just see the top of her head. So I build her up a little spot to sit, and then move her back. And I use the tire to raise her up off the bottom of the chassis there. And she fits right out the window just fine. And then I put the passenger on the side there, and I use a little sticky tack to keep him in place, and I glue the bottom of him and let that dry. While that's drying, I re-glue the base of the hot rod back on, and there we go so far. Next, we bring out the black wash. Black wash is used to bring out some of the finer details that we have kind of painted over, and so everything's not just so one color and you can't see anything. We black wash the tires, we black wash the body, we black wash the weapons, we black wash everything. And here we are, the next day. Everything has dried up, and we're gonna glue the body of the truck back together after we are happy with the passenger being in his spot and he's securely glued. And we just put glue back in the posts. And here we are now after all the glue's dried, and we're gonna dry brush on some mud effects. The first thing we use is the burnt umber brown, and we put that on pretty heavily to make it look like big globs of mud. And then we use the next color, which is the brown chocolate bar color, and we use that not as much, but still put it around quite a bit. And that's kind of like a red clay mud look, and I really like
the color this has. And we put it on the tires and the body and all the chrome spots. And put that on both vehicles. And then we use the beige. We use the beige for more of like a light dust or more of like a light mud color. And we don't put that on as much, just a little bit here and there. And once I've got all the cars painted up the way I liked and all muddied up, I give them one more inspection because these cars are so beautiful. And I have decided to name this team of cars the Beautiful Ones. And that is a reference to a documentary I watched by a channel called Down the Rabbit Hole, where it was about a study on rats. And there were some rats that were in the colony that were pretty, and their nicknames were the Beautiful Ones. So once we're done admiring our beautiful cars, we give them one more little check, and we're about to take them outside to put a clear coat on them.
Oh, hi there. It's Cadence, his aforementioned fiancé. He forgot to post any finished photos of the cars, so here they are. Some finished cars for your faces, the beautiful ones. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, hey, you're back. Well, good. I'm glad you stayed. How'd you like that Gaslands car video? I know I liked it. And for those of you that don't know, this is my fiance's. And for those of you that don't know my fiance, it's Cadence. And for those of you that don't know Cadence, she's in this video right here with Crafting with Cadence. Check it out. I love her very much. That bitch! So if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because apparently it helps the channel. Stay cool!